Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook where we conquer the world. No, we don't, actually. We just take care of ourselves in the best possible way by sharing news about our city, our state, our country, by sharing tips about Puerto Vallarta, by trying to live a most fulfilling life or as much as fulfilling as we can here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. It is a pleasure to welcome you. It's a pleasure to spend time with you every morning, and today is no exception. It is Wednesday, March 9th, and I forgot to turn carrot weather on. Let me do that right now so that it doesn't catch me off guard later on. In the pronunciation challenge, are you sending me the phonetic spelling of the Huichol words, says Harold. Well, for starters, they were not Huichol words. I was speaking Nahuatl. But there's really no pronunciation challenge, unless you want there one to be. It would be a lot of fun, for you guys to send us videos of you trying to pronounce Spanish words that are complicated even for us Mexicans. But let's not go there today, unless you think it's a good idea. Speaking of good ideas, we have all kinds of interesting content to share today. Let me turn off a couple of applications we're not going to need during the broadcast because we don't want the broadcast to implode on us as it sometimes does. If you have something wonderful to share with us, such as the fact that you are new, you can do so by letting us know and writing the word new in your comments. If you have an important question that you wish to share or comment that you wish to share with us, please add a letter Q, a capital letter Q, at the beginning of your comment. Today we have interesting news. We have community questions, and also I have all kinds of adventures to share with you from yesterday afternoon. But we'll save the chit-chat for the second half of the broadcast. Let us take a quick look at the news, and we'll look at the weather, and we'll take it from there. Okay, for starters, yikes, did that just happen? I didn't mean for that to happen. There you go. We are getting new vaccination campaigns coming up. This coming Monday, there will be a COVID vaccination campaign for minors. Approximately 1,500 vaccines will be made available for those young ones between 14 and 17 years of age that received their first dose last month. And this is not the only news we have about vaccines. Governor Alfaro published on his Facebook page that 260,000 new doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived in the state of Jalisco. No specific dates have been given just yet, but we can certainly anticipate that some of those vaccines will be destined for Puerto Vallarta. Moving right along, yesterday, under the the slogan or the logo 8M or 8 March or Ocho Marzo, thousands and thousands of women marched at different cities in Mexico to raise awareness of International Women's Day. And the good news is that most of the marches were um, peaceful in nature. There were a couple of exceptions, unfortunately, but they were peaceful. So, of course, that was yesterday, 8M. Today, there's this hashtag, El 9 nadie se mueve, which rhymes and it means on the 9th, nobody moves. And this is a nationwide day or initiative in which women don't go to work. It's not a celebration, it's more of a statement. The article says that a number of businesses have stand behind this initiative. And then at the end of the article, it says the service industry is very demanding. And even though the initiative is good to show the importance of the female figure or of women in the economic life of the country, there is no way for Puerto Vallarta to have such a statement in large numbers. In other words, whoever wrote this, Milton Colmenares, thinks this could never happen in Puerto Vallarta. Now, I am not going to say that I am pro or against these events. I think it's great that we have a day to celebrate women, but I think we should need to have one. I think we should be able to celebrate women every single day of the year. But that's just me. Meanwhile, our mayor, God bless our mayor, he went on and and yesterday, in commemoration of International Women's Day, he decided to go and project this image onto one of the buildings of the municipality. And he writes in his copy, an important message to reach a better future. And if you ask me, there's no better message that you can send a young Mexican woman to reach a better future than the image of a blonde Disney princess. But yes, I know I'm being snarky. What can I tell you? I have a small update on one of the people responsible for the huge incident at the stadium in Querétaro this past Saturday. Now that social media photographs are circulating out there of people that were recognized to have been taken part of this, to have taken part of the situation, the mother of one of the perpetrators took care of things herself and turned him onto the authorities. So there's good karma and there's bad karma, and I think it's a good thing that more and more clarity is coming forth about the situation. As the governor of Querétaro said, we can only hope that these people will be punished to the full extent of the law. Let us turn over to the weather just to see what's in store for the next few days, and then we'll get into some interesting stuff. Aha. If you combine 5 M1 Ultra chips, oh, don't get me there. If you combine 5 M1 Ultra chips with duct tape, you get an M1 Voltron. This is a clear reference to the fact that yesterday Apple announced their brand new computers, and I tell you, it's they're expensive, but we don't need to go there. It would take a lot of coffees for me to replace my computer. I'm just going to say that. 24 degrees right now, feels like 25. Humidity is at 54%, and Fahrenheit devotees will be happy to know that we're enjoying 75 degrees Fahrenheit right now. My house feels a little balmy because I'm cooking beans. I have this craving for ranchero beans, so I'm cooking beans from scratch today. But you don't really care about that. You care about our forecast, which says clear through the day with a high temperature of 27, low temperature of 15. Tomorrow, Thursday, another clear day, high temperature 28, low temperature 15. And Friday, another clear day with a high temperature of 28 and a low temperature of 14. Beautiful weather to enjoy. Although I'm feeling schwitzy again, it's because my slow cooker is doing its thing. What is next? What is next is a question from one of our viewers, a dear friend of mine who has just begun his life as an English speaking local. Sent me an interesting question, and I thought it would be an interesting source of conversation for us today. Let me put it up on the screen. It says, could you help me with something? I don't know what my pay will be like now that I'm a local. We have a cleaning lady through PVRPV who comes every Wednesday. I usually like to be generous, but I have to watch my money until I see what I will make. What is an appropriate tip for her every week that is not insulting? If you are in a rush for your show, no problem. So what I responded to my friend is, this is a perfect question for us. So the question is very specific. There's already an arrangement with a local real estate company to come in and clean the place. And this gentleman only wants to add a tip on top of that. I happen to know that his unit is small. He has a one-bedroom apartment. And he's just thinking about the tip to go clean it. So how can we help this English-speaking local? Maybe you can write in your comments the size of your environment and how much you pay your cleaning person. And from there, maybe we can derive a tip to add on top of that. Of course, this is a very unique situation because this particular gentleman is having his apartment cleaned through an external service. So any comments that you can write that can help us get some clarity here will be very much appreciated. Let's see what else we have. Hacking. Yes, let's talk about this. Where is my news item? Oh, no, let's talk about the hotels first. Yeah, that comes first. Hoteliers are getting all excited because there's this event that has been going on for a long time. Ryan, I'm gonna get to, I'm gonna get to your comment later on. But first, hotels are getting ready for the Gala Vallarta Nayarit. The Gala Vallarta Nayarit is an ongoing event that happens, I think, every year, every other year, I forget, in which hotels from Jalisco and Nayarit, or more specifically from Puerto Vallarta and Riviera Nayarit, are get together at the convention center to promote themselves. The interesting thing is that now that the event is coming up, one begs the question, who's paying for this event to happen? This event is happening at Puerto Vallarta's convention center, and we know that that we are in talks with the government of Nayarit, so we don't know exactly how much the government of Nayarit is going to contribute to the joint promotion of both destinations. So I think it's just interesting that the event is happening without clarity as to how the promotion is going to go on moving forward. I also want to let you know that if you do any business on Mercado Libre, please know that the site has been hacked and approximately 300,000 users' personal information was leaked. At least that's what the company is saying. For you, those of you that don't know what Mercado Libre is a hybrid between eBay and Amazon because people can sell things. So it's not so much an auction site, but people can sell things. But also there are many brands that have official stores within Mercado Libre. All I am saying is if you conduct any business or have ever created an account with Mercado Libre, it might be a good idea to change your password. That's what I'm trying to say. And next, after that, I have to share some very unfortunate images that a viewer shared with me. This comes from the Facebook account of Sylvie Scopato, who's showing us these images of new construction going on right next to Riviera Quale, where apparently they are going to build more towers. I suppose some lessons don't get learned, but this is part of the reality of growing up as a community. All I can say is I hope this project is going on following the law. We also spotted another project. Take a look at this monstrosity. This is Francia Tower, La Torre Francia. It's going to be built right on the main avenue at the corner of Calle Francia and Francisco Medina Asensio. It's monstrous. It has 48 apartments, one tower. I think it has 17 stories, I read somewhere. Um, and it's interesting because clearly it's designed for Airbnb purposes. The units have some of the units have 2 bedrooms with a lock-off option. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you. We are growing up. Look at the photos. That thing is fucking huge. And it's happening in our lovely little city. Progress is inevitable. All I can say about projects like that is that, again, I hope they are happening within the scope of the law, because if these people are doing pre-sale and then some people buy, but the whole financing doesn't come together, then you end up with those monstrosities that are just never finished, and they end up looking fugly and just making things even worse for the city. I also want to show you a beautiful image. This makes me smile because it brings us back to that small little town in Jalisco, where there's that whole crochet made pavilion, the largest in the world. But the beautiful thing about this is that I was actually able to pinpoint the organization that is behind it, and it's called Cielo Tejido. And apparently they even took a huge installation to Dubai for a Mexican expo. And I've been snooping at their website, and what these hookers are doing is they are using raffia, plastic raffia, to do this. So I reached out to them and I said, maybe you'd be willing to share the pattern that you are using, and maybe one can contribute to those beautiful projects on our own, from where we sit. I would love to crochet a couple of hexagons with them or for them and just send them to them. Next, I want to tell you a little bit about how my afternoon went yesterday, because it sets up our walking tour for today. And is it a walking tour? We don't know what it is, and I'll explain myself. Yesterday, I went out and had lovely dinner with dear friends with whom I have several things in common. Number one, we all watch Coffee and Headlines. Well, some of us not only watch it, some of us actually make it. And number two, we've all had great stories of welcoming guests, and we've all had horror stories of welcoming guests. So we were having a lively conversation yesterday about how we should indeed, yes, Harold, I did call them hookers because we are hookers. I'm a hooker because I hook. See? There's my yarn hook. I'm a hooker. And yes, I did so quite proudly. Anyhow, back to yesterday, we were all sharing horror stories of horrible guests. And I kept asking my friends, well, wait a second, if we actually put together a broadcast focused only on sharing horror stories about horror visitors, would you feel self-conscious that your friends would identify your comments and know that you were talking about them? And my friend said, fuck no, we can certainly talk about this. And then my friends, being good friends, said, well, we should actually find the nurturing part of this and share some good tips on how to deal with uncomfortably time-consuming, needy, obnoxious guests that we all get from time to time. So look forward to a special broadcast of Coffee and Headlines at some point in which we will do precisely that. We will share horror stories and helpful tips on what to do with challenging visitors that come and interrupt our lives as English-speaking locals. Now, something else that came up in conversation yesterday that gave us a lot of pleasure had to do with this business of the catapult. So will the person that came up with the notion of building a catapult on top of the new Insurgentes bridge, will you please stand up? Because I'm not entirely sure who it was, but we laughed so much yesterday at the possibilities of the catapult and how we can use the catapult productively, that I came home and I found this wonderful GIF image that I just need to share. Boink. See, that was a tourist. Boink. There goes another one. You need to cross over to the other side of the Quale. Piece of cake. You need to get to Moro Paraíso without getting your feet dirty with construction. Boom. There you go. So we laughed a lot about this, I should tell you. Oh, that would be Alan. Thank you very much, Alan. I bow in your general direction. I think we will submit the catapult idea to the government. Maybe we can do this in case Semana Santa comes and they don't finish the Isla Rio Cuale Insurgentes Bridge. Unfortunately, because I'm sharing this today, we cannot use it for our Dia de los Inocentes, our Mexican April Fool's Day, because we've already used it. Anyhow, I was very grateful last night to have great dinner with loving friends that make me laugh and make me feel good about life and good about myself. So where did we go? Well, that is part of our walking tour today. But this got me thinking, and I was asking some friends privately this morning. Walking tour in my mind is the idea of going from one place to another and exploring for blocks and blocks and blocks. But then there's also when you're not walking to another place and you're just walking within that one particular place. And what do we call that? Because it's not, is it a walking tour or is it not a walking tour? Am I complicating things? Maybe we should just look for it and watch it. Boom.
Hey.
Hey.
I am starving.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea, I'm starving. And today I'm having dinner with some friends at one fun place that we've walked past, but we haven't explored with the camera. Today we are going to head into the food park. Let's have a look.
There we go.
Now the wonderful thing, actually let me get outside, let me get away from the noise. The wonderful thing about the food park is that a bunch of really awesome restaurants from Puerto Vallarta are represented here. And the last time I was here, I was so hungry that I just went like for the first place that I could find. Today, I'm still very hungry, but I want to have a closer look at everything that's being offered before I sit down and join my friends for dinner. I'm a little early. So for starters, you can see Food Park expects you to use your face mask. And let's see what we can find here. Okay. First of all, there's pizza and pasta. There is a place here called La Pizzeria. And then we come to one of my favorite places, and I'm disappointed to see that it's closed. Maybe they'll arrive a little later. This is Sushi in House, one of my favorite sushi places in Colonia Versalles. Moving right along, we have a place called La Curva, and they do seafood. Now, you're probably wondering how this place works. So you see, there's a common seating area, which is outdoors. This is all al fresco. So whichever eatery you order from, they'll give you a buzzer. And when your food is ready, your buzzer will buzz, and you come back and you pick up your food and enjoy it. So this was La Curva seafood place. And next to La Curva is the meat place. Now here's where I had dinner last time. It's called Park Grill Container Meat. Park Grill Container. That's what it's called. And yes, if you look at these are all recycled or repurposed containers. This is where I had dinner last night. They have really wonderful things that are all meat based. Moving right along, there is a place that serves burritos. And not only do they serve burritos, they serve tacos al pastor. This is called Burrito Park. So this is another option for you. And next to it is Clock and Company. Buenas tardes. And what we find here is wings. Wings of all kinds. And then there's the dessert place, which is closed. Again, I'm a little bit on the early side. Maybe they're just starting to open. And then we have Pocho's Smoke Deli. This looks like all kinds of creative. Buenas tardes. This looks like, oh, creative hot dogs. I love it. See, you can get pata salada, you can get Kaiser, you can get the gringo dog, the compadre, the pibe. So these are all derivatives of, I mean, I wouldn't call them hot dogs because they look a lot more sophisticated than just hot dogs. But this is yet another option that you can pursue here. Moving right along, we come to the most important place. This is the bar.
Yum.
Now the bar works different. Buenas tardes. The bar works differently than the other places because at the bar will wait on you at your table, or you can order drinks right here. And this is, you know, in case you want to have a boozy cocktail or a non-boozy beverage with your meal, which makes perfect sense.
We have boozy.
And then we continue walking around, and there's another burger place here. This is called Grill Burgers, and they have all kinds of different options: traditional, double, shrimp, maritierra, which means it gets seafood and meat, Hawaiian and vegetarian. There's a children's playground right next here.
Or adults.
So you can also come here with your family and make sure that the kids are going to have a good time. And I've managed to walk around the whole place. It's not so large, but right up front there is a coffee shop, which I think has an entrance through the street. And then up front here, on the other side, this is simply the other side of the pizza place. So this is what goes on here. And this is definitely a place you want to consider this time of year. Why? Well, because the weather makes it really enjoyable this time of year. Right now, it is still cool. It is easy to enjoy. Come the summer months, it'll rain. And of course, you don't want to be here when it's raining and it'll get humid. And you definitely don't want to be here when it's humid. So, this is the food park here in Puerto Vallarta. A great place to choose different options for food. Great place to check out before or after the movie theater across the street at Plaza La Isla, at La Isla. And this was my quick and dirty walk of the day. I highly recommend this place. It gets crowded later on, but never so crowded that you feel uncomfortable. And this is my time to sign off as I get ready to meet my friends. Ciao.
So, so anyhow, that was not a walking tour. That was a spotlight on, a visit to, an up close and personal. What do we call that? Because I don't know if I'm overcomplicating things by creating a difference between walking tour and checking out a specific place or what. But what was that? What do we call it? Cluster. Help me out. I look forward to your comments on that. And of course, you guys made me giggle with some of your comments, starting with you, Raymond. I would have to sit as far as possible from the screaming children. Well, you would not enjoy dinner with me because I laugh like a little girl. And that's all I'm going to say for myself. Let me actually rewind your comments because I'm sure there's some good and juicy stuff along the way. Let's take a quick look. Starting with your good mornings. Good morning back to you. It's always a pleasure to read your good mornings and know where you are watching from, like John, who's watching from Anaheim, or Dog, who's watching in Emiliano Zapatista. Okay. Oh, Emiliano Zapatista. I love the typos. Lovely. Deborah is counting days. July 3rd. That's just 5 days before my birthday. Just as an FYI. Let's see what else do we have. Da 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 da. I thought about this while we were watching the video. Harold, no, we are not going to have a pronunciation challenge because I don't want to make fun of how you mess Spanish words any more than I want you to have fun at the way I mess up English words. Unless you want to go there, but I don't think it's nice to make fun of other people's misgivings. And I just did. I just did when I looked at some of your typos. Anyhow, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see what else we have. Da, 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 da. Paula had a good trip to PV, embraced all the food and wonderful people, loved our time at Whiskey Kitchen and all the great restaurants. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'm knocking on the door of Whiskey Kitchen just to find out if they are ready for the tour. Let's see. Eric, I'm glad that you spoke out later on in the broadcast and identified yourself as a person with a tipping question. I look forward to reading some of the comments you may have received. Let's see. My sister arrives today for a week. She's a psychiatrist. This should be fun. Well, the good news, Javier, is that you don't have to be a loud neighbor and be sent to Guadalajara for therapy. You can just stay home and be quiet and have your sister give you whatever treatment you well deserve, if you do. Matthew says, good morning, Paco. Have you made an egg salad using your new chingadera yet? Not only have I done that, but I found myself thinking I really need to get in touch with my friends and ask them if they need their eggs sliced. So, yes, and I'm going to make more egg slicage later on today, so I'm excited. Let's see what else we have. Snark away. Seriously, princess? Well, I thought that myself, Mijal. One of the things that we struggle in Mexico, and I'm sure other countries, well, I cannot speak for other countries, but in Mexico, we struggle with the identity of women. Well, our identity in general. It's a cultural struggle. Are we white? Or are we mixed? Or are we Indian? And some people stand in different places as far as that equation is concerned. If you look at many Mexican telenovelas, and I'm going to be stereotypical here for the sake of a conversation and an argument, but a lot of times the hero, the lady hero, is this fabulous looking fair-skinned woman, and the service people are usually a different color. So it's complicated. All I know is that I saw a government building with a Disney princess and our mayor saying, well, this is something that should inspire women for a better future. It's like, seriously? Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let's see. Catherine, knowing Catherine, I know there's a lot of snark here and I love it. No, of course not. We wouldn't want to inconvenience the tourists by all backbone of the hotel industry not working for one day. I love it. Let's see what else we have. Ryan made me smile with this one. Paco, never tell a man his unit is small. Well, um, I suppose you're right. I suppose you're right. And of course, then I read Eric's. I've never seen Eric's unit. I've seen his apartment, which I mentioned has only one bedroom. But then he corrected me. He actually has two bedrooms. I forgot about the other bedroom. So his unit, it turns out, is bigger than I thought. So there. Let's see. Betsy Ann says 1,000 square feet, but doesn't add amounts, which is what we're looking for. Dog has a one bedroom, 100 peso per cleaning. This is precisely the kind of situation that Eric was looking for. The condo fees include the weekly cleaning for a two bedroom, but apart from that, or aside from that, he tips 100 pesos. There's more of these. I'm glad to see that you guys shared all this information. I do my own house cleaning these days, so I tip myself. But I'm sure this information should be useful to a number of people. It's not about who pays more or who is a better tipper or a worse tipper, but this should be helpful information. I hope. Let's see what else we have. Lots of comments about house cleaning. I love it. Oh, Michael, thank you for the comments regarding tipping. I only get breakfast cooked for me, underpaid, I think. Well, I don't know about that. Let's see what else we have. David has been to the town where the crochet happens. Wonderful hotel, Hacienda del Carmen, very close by. Good side trip from Guadalajara or Tequila. I just would want to know, not necessarily from you, Dave, but I want to inquire about the public transportation options between Etzatlan and Guadalajara, because I would love to do a side trip and see that beautiful creation in person and take some photographs, interview the people behind the initiative. And yes, Harold, I called ourselves hookers, and we call ourselves hookers quite proudly. I've never heard of somebody that knits or crochets that doesn't feel comfortable with that title. Let's see. Matthew says, about guests, I get so few that I end up loving being a tour guide. However, I give warts and all tours, not just the pretty stuff. Well, I'm going to save the comments about guests till when we have our day to do that, but that would be absolutely funny. Wanda laughed at the catapult. I hope other people did too. I think we can also use the catapult for whenever somebody, every now and then we get all these spam people, and we can certainly go, thank you, goodbye. Boing. Let's see what else we have. I hope everyone in Puerto Vallarta took advantage of watching the volunteers tile the park benches in Emiliano Zapata last week. Would have loved to be a part of that activity. I didn't even know it happened, but I am sure it was beautiful to watch. Ryan probably smokes at least half of what I smoke, because he says catapult on one side, giant butterfly net on the other side of the river. Well, wouldn't that be sexy to watch? Patty calls that a mini neighborhood walk. Bronica calls it an exploring tour. I love it. Alan, please report to the catapult for the first try. You guys are nuts. I love it. Let's see what else we had. Comments about the food park. I cannot tell you how wonderful, well, I can tell you how wonderful the food park is, because it is wonderful. It's such a great opportunity. I saw this going by. Sheila, I totally recommend the food park, especially if you go with friends, or if you sit by yourself, it's no big whoop. But it is so nice to be there, and it's not very expensive, because these folks don't have to pay for service. You essentially get up from your table when your buzzer buzzes and you get your food, and that's it. The people that wait on you are the employees of the bar. And we did give them a good tip when we got the bill for the 3 bottles of wine that we drank. And then, of course, I went grocery shopping for the ingredients that I needed to make my ranchero beans today. And then I got home and I got fairly high while I was editing the video. So yes, at least one person heard a moo going on during the video, and that is exactly what happened. In the midst of my being in a cloud, I figured, well, I'm talking about the meat place. We might as well throw a cow. Let's see. Dory thinks we should call it a stroll through. I like that. I like that. A drop by, says Dave Schwartz. On location, says Maggie, as in Peggy. My goodness, all these wonderful suggestions. I love it. Salam. Again, it's a great place to go enjoy. And as we said in the video, this is the time to do it. You know, I sure hope that the people that run the place look after their finances during the summer months, because admittedly, it's not a comfortable place to be when it's hot and humid out there, and certainly not comfortable when you're sitting out fresco and it starts to rain. But it is such an awesome place. It is wonderful. Let's see what else we have. Poking fun can be fun and light humor unless you're being a bully. See, it's a complicated thing, Dave. I know that I ruffled a feather or two yesterday with certain comments that I made about people not taking the initiative to go look at show notes or checking on a map. And one never tries to be a bully, but you know, where does one draw the line between fun and light humor and hurting somebody's susceptibilities? It's a challenging thing because we're all different human beings, and we all have different levels of tolerance. Let's see what else we have. Beef hot dogs, question mark. I would think so, Patty. Let's see. Lots of comments. Oh, wonderful. Oh, there is a bus ride from Guadalajara to get to the crochet town. Thank you very much, Dave. I will start doing some research. Lots of places. Food Park is great local place to eat and drink. Yes, and I noticed that somebody asked at some point what time it was when we went. I did the walk at about 5:40 because I was meeting my friends at 6, and I wanted to get there a little early so that I could, take care of business before sitting down and enjoying the evening. If you leave gratuity at the beef place, is that cow tipping? Oh, Raymond. Have you heard the chicken clucks too? Yes, there were chicken clucks on my video. There were cow moos on my video, and that was probably the last time I'll edit a walking tour for Coffee and Headlines after having enjoyed a gummy bear. And I think this brings us to the end of the comments. Lots of conversation today. Thank you so very much for that. It is always a pleasure to get feedback from you about what we do here on the broadcast, and also about how we live our lives as English-speaking locals. I always learn something new from you, and I always get thrilled when I learn that you have learned something new from what we do here at Coffee and Headlines. So all is good. Thank you very much again for a wonderful show. Tomorrow is Thursday. We'll see what we come up with and what kind of trouble we can get into. But between now and then, have an awesome catapulty day.